Oh yes, legends, how's everybody doing? Let's analyze the situation for the price of Bitcoin and talk about the possible moves that could develop in the next coming hours and next couple of days. Let's go, legends. How is everybody doing? Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic and that you are ready for this epic live stream technical analysis right away, guys. Let's say hello to the beautiful community and see what's going on in the comment section. Make sure to slap gently, ever so slightly, that like button, and let's go right away and say hello to the beautiful community here. And then we'll crack on with the price of Bitcoin, guys. A little bit of choppiness, a little bit of a pullback here, which is very much expected. I like how the price action has been moving. You know, these are like very, very predictable movements that we've had in the last couple of days, guys. Okay, this is like this sweet spot to get into some good entries, long, short. Okay, it's actually pretty nice. Nice range to trade, very tradable area, okay, with high probability movements. Okay, will be explained, of course, in today's live stream. Let's say hello. Axel, how are you doing, my man? It's over for the Bulls and Bears. I'm tired, Andy. I know, I'm tired as well. Okay, I'm tired. We need to trade our way. When the real bull run like euphoria? Very good question. I mean, Bitcoin has had an epic bull run, right? We're just greedy. We just want higher. We just want infinite prices. 130, 150, 200K. Yeah, Bitcoin's had a very good bull run, I have to say. Okay, and this is why I scaled out a little bit throughout the bull run. Okay, 90K, 100K, and 125K, approximately 124 or so. Scaling out on spot bags, and now we need to trade our way if we are going to get a bear market or bull market, right? Long, short, try and make some dollars, right? Throughout the next coming weeks. That's how we do it, legends. We need to definitely trade responsibly and look for high probability moves and try and make some cash on the sideline, right? At least for me anyway, guys. No financial advice in this live stream or any of my video updates. Quick reminder right away, okay, that none of this is financial advice. It's only to be treated as educational content, okay? Muy importante, all right? Muy importante. But we are here to look at the movements, try and predict the movements. Yesterday, I have to say, anybody, could have joined a long position. For me, the double bottom is an aggressive long. It was an aggressive long. I wasn't too interested. Once we got a rally at the end of the stream here, it was highly likely that we were going to take out these highs, okay? This is the importance of aggressive trades and confirmation trades that not going to give you a great entry, I have to say, but it gives you a little bit of more probabilities, right? This was explained throughout yesterday's stream. I didn't catch the ultimate low. Let's be honest. I didn't like it. I didn't catch here the double bottom. But once we got a rally, it was okay to get into a long position based on, my point of view of looking at the chart. And yesterday, we were looking, we're likely going to get a bounce here, regardless if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking for a bounce. It's very common to get that bounce and sweep up the last lower high, which is labeled as your potential fourth wave. That's looking at the impulsive move. Or, this is the beauty as well. Sometimes Elliott wave theory is going to combine the bearish and the bullish case at the same zone, which it makes it very lucrative to say, wow, the probabilities here and not moving to much lower prices, basically dumping down a few $1,000s from this point. We're likely going to get exhausted, or we're double bottoming, or we're going to chop around in this zone and we're looking for that reversal bounce. This is the highest probability movement. We can't say this is the exact low. We just say, going to much lower prices is highly unlikely when we use Elliott wave theory. Of course, we had the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 potential get the bounce. And if it was not going to be a 5-wave structure to the downside, well, you need to combine, okay, an ABC, a 3-wave structure here to the downside, and give the possibility for a flat, which is literally, you know, kind of what we did, right? We did get an aggressive move up. This I would classify as this movement as this movement as a flat, as a very, very common flat structure where you got a 3-wave up, a 3-wave down. Once this movement down with high volume does not get continuation to the downside, and you overlap here the golden pocket, okay, that makes it a high probability, you know, 3-wave structure down. You're likely going to take out the local highs. And, you know, one of the options was the flat, right? Get that rally above this zone and move to the upside. So, yeah, I mean, this is literally what happened, right? You know, you got the aggressive trade. Let's be honest. You know, yesterday, it all depends on how aggressive you are. I did not catch this double bottom, legends. I did not catch the double bottom, right? Right now, we're getting a move down. A bit of volume, it's dumping down. Maybe the S&P is going down as well. There's no rush. There's no rush here in doing anything. Okay, we'll talk about the levels, the zones, what the price needs to do for us to be confident in realizing what's the highest probability move. Anybody that watched today's video update that didn't get any much love, guys. You know, I'm feeling a bit confident that I think we're likely going to form a higher low in this zone and take out 94k. All right, that doesn't mean that you want to get into a long position all the way up here at the highs. In today's video update, we pointed out that a reversal from here is very, very likely. Okay, very, very likely to get that reversal. Bullish scenarios from this point to actually continue the momentum to the upside. Let's be honest. It was low probability, right? Let's turn that music down because it's Monday, right? Very far away from the weekend. So let's get that music down. So this was a zone of valid short trades, I have to say. You know, this movement up here was very, very acceptable for some shorts, okay? Just understanding that, you know, the probabilities here from, you know, to grind to the upside were just very, very low based on the information that we got here with this price action. So it was pointed out in today's video update. Didn't get any love at all, guys, on today's video update. I'm going to stop doing video updates if nobody's going to watch them. Yeah, there's no way. I'm not going to do them, guys. You know, if I get those kind of views, there's no way I'm doing video updates. Live streams are the ones that people that really enjoy by the looks of things, and we'll be continuing with the live streams till I don't. So it all depends on the love that we get here and people that appreciate the information, the probability side of looking at the charts. Right, yesterday I didn't give an exact kind of entry. We just needed, you know, I need to be careful with the wording here. I did get a strike a couple of weeks ago and I couldn't upload. I don't know if it was the title or if it was the content. I have no idea. YouTube hasn't been clear, so I need to be very, very careful here with saying, you know, I just talk about probability sides, right? And you know, this would be a zone that I would like to long. Here's where I would put my stop loss. Here's, you know, just give a little bit of kind of guidance here, but never be too straight on what to do, right? Because, you know, I can't say, you know, we're buying here, we're selling there. People that do that on YouTube, they will eventually, you know, get some kind of a strike in the future. It's just inevitable if you're not careful with your wording when you're doing this type of content. So anyway, we've got the movement up. In today's video update, you know, pointed out that we're likely going to get a reversal from this zone, right? You know, likely the price does not successfully break above this zone, okay, coming into resistance, and a pullback is just highly likely. So now what we need to see is this pullback get to some levels of support I want to see some interesting price action that I'm going to explain in today's video, in today's live stream. And we might, you know, see another good long opportunity. Shorts, I have to be honest, you know, had to be taken a few hours ago at this range. Anybody that was feeling, you know, looking at understanding the charts, you know, this is the zone where you actually want to take action on that potential short position. Shorting down here eventually is just not the option, right? You're not chasing the short. It's time to look for longs. And I'm going to explain exactly what I want to see for a new long position here. Okay, so if you do like that, idea, make sure to smash up the like button, because yeah, this content, you know, I want to see it that it is valuable. I wish I had someone that was, you know, telling me a little bit of the waves and the probabilities and levels of support and resistance like this, right? So yeah, that would be highly appreciated. That means that people do want to continue seeing me here on YouTube, and that will, you know, I will see that as, okay, people like it, people don't like it, I don't see enough engagement, I don't see enough likes, then yeah, I'm not sure how long I'll be around, guys. So I need a bit of support, and I need, you know, need a bit of love. I love your video, Andy, hoping you always update. Thank you very much, my man. Much love. Vikingos, don't stop making videos updates. Much love to you, brother. Yeah, bro, keep it up. Thank you, my man. Take out 89,600 and then hit 94K would be optimal. Yeah, we can analyze those levels. We are going to take a look at a few scenarios. Make a new video. We've gone shit pit over the like button. Out. Much love. We like you, Andy. Chit-chan, much love. Thank you very much for the kind words. Where's the CME gap? If you ask me right now, I have no clue where the CME gap is. It's probably filled. Your content is great, Andy. One of the few. Much love, my man. Between your... Understand, bro, it makes no sense. 292 watching and just 10 likes. You're probably shadow banned. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay. Not filled yet. Let's take a look where that CME gap is. Okay. Let me know, guys. What do you think about this? You know, we're probably in the middle right now. What comes first for the price of Bitcoin? I'm going to get a poll, and then we check the CME gap. We got a bit of news as well. Obviously, Michael Saylor. And we got a bit of this, which is interesting. Okay, spot buys are getting pretty aggressive. We're going to take a look at a bit of order flow, a little bit of CBD, a bit of liquidation, and obviously the most important, the technical analysis, levels of confluence and Elliott wave theory combined with that is giving us the absolute edge on the highest probability movements. But I want to ask the people today, okay? I want to ask the community, what comes first for Bitcoin? Okay, what comes first for Bitcoin? Poll is on the way, guys, and that is 94.2k, which is these highs right over here. Okay, these highs right over here, or 84k. Let's say 84k. Okay, which is the lows. Let me know right away on the poll, and I'm going to give my honest opinion, despite the range continuing in choppiness, okay, which is very much expected in this zone. I'm going to say that 94.2k comes first before 84k, guys. And you know, I can be completely wrong about this. I can be completely wrong, and you need to take this with a grain of salt, but I want to be confident in the analysis and actually say that, you know, based on this movement to the downside, okay, and the information that we got with this move, how did we come down from this pivot to form this formation to claim this low? You know, I'm going to lean that there is a good chance that this is likely a long corrective structure, that I am looking for the price to end up taking out 94k instead of 84k. It might sound a little bit crazy, because when you do zoom out, I mean, let's be honest. When you do zoom out, it's a risky bet, right? We would say it's a risky bet. I mean, this zone has been beautiful to long and short at the same time, guys. This is like the perfect scenario to hedge. You could have got into a long and a short in the last 24 hours, and like high probability bounce and rejection. So it's very good to get into a long and a short in the last 24 hours, right? I'll explain that. But on the higher time frame, you might think, man, you are absolutely nuts. You're out of your mind believing that we're going to get above 94,000 plus. You're out of your mind. Bear market, the trend is clearly to the downside. The bounce that we've had throughout the last couple of weeks entering into December is clearly a three-wave move for the moment. And on the movement to the downside from the last few days, give or take 5-6 days, right from the top here at 94.2, you can fit in a 5-wave impulsive move to the downside. So it makes sense to attempt a short in this region for a lower high, just in case the price breaks down in a wave 3 in the next coming days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we actually get below $80,000. It makes total sense after getting a 3-wave structure up, 3-wave up, grinding structure to the downside, big dump. 3-wave up, grinding structure to the downside, big dump, right? So it makes complete sense when you go with a general trend and you can actually spot that 3-wave structure, and you have the possibility of a 5-wave move down here and this bounce very locally. That, I mean, come on, it's textbook 5-wave down, 3-wave up. I mean, it doesn't matter my bias where it is. If I can get into a long position where I realize there is a good chance to take out the highs, and eventually I will leave some of that position open. It's just the way I trade. To possibly take out that high, that's not going to stop me from taking a short position where I understand, there is a good short zone, right? This is a very, very good short area. Without taking out the highs eventually, you need to give a bit of room here, manage risk accordingly. Right, it's all about managing your trades and your capital here. But this was a beauty zone to get into a long. The aggressive traders would have gotten into a double bottom, trying to catch this movement down, and the more conservative traders maybe longed a little bit later, or maybe got the rally, got a dump, and maybe got into a long here, maybe. And then obviously you got the 3-wave move to the upside, right? I would say that this is independent. This is an independent move instead of this being a 3-waver. But just in case that this is not an ABC flat, okay? Because the idea of taking out $94,000, which I am going to stick with, okay? Despite coming down to sweep up this low or this low, which we're going to talk about the information now in the next coming minutes, guys. Bear with me, because I do have the next moves detected, right? As the title says, right? Next moves detected. Next moves that I'm watching to position myself again, right? In this range, because it's all about day trades, right? It's all about day trading, basically, right? If you did get into a long yesterday, when we were talking about sweeping up the highs here with high probability, well, there's 2 scenarios: 4 5s after the big volume move down, or 3-wave structure. If you get a decent bounce to hit the golden pocket from that 3rd wave down, it's gonna decrease the probabilities that you're gonna get continuation to the downside. And this is a zone of, okay, I want to get into a long. It's not the best entry. You're not catching the low, but it's giving you a bit of confirmation. Okay, and that's why a lot of the times we talk about aggressive longs or aggressive trades, and then the more conservative ones that are not going to give you the best entry eventually, because aggressive trades is trying to catch the low or catch the high, right, with a bias that you have. The bias from yesterday was, you know, we're likely going to bounce somewhere in this region to take out 90,200, right? Then it's your, you know, how you manage the trade. That's how you manage the trade. Are you ready to get a bit of choppiness to the downside? And if you do bounce from here, then eventually we're looking for a very, very valid flat structure. So the analysis is there. Every trader is different. Every trader is different. So yeah, let's break down a little bit of this move, guys. Higher time frame. It's higher time frame is there, guys. The higher time frame. The higher time frame, it looks pretty damn bearish, right? It's just muy bearish, very, very bearish. Higher time frame, downtrend, 3-wave up, possible 5-waver down. You know, if you have a 3-wave move down, no matter what my bias is in this zone, okay, and I believe that there's a good chance that we take out 94k, that's not going to stop me from taking a short position in this zone, guys. I have to say, you know, I look at both of the faces here, and if I have a valid entry, I am going to take it, even though I think that there's a good chance that we take out 94,000 in the next few days, right? And, you know, this is what's going to be confusing for a lot of people. As a trader, you need to be very adaptive. You need to understand the bullish and bearish case scenario. You know, usually you need to be neutral as a trader and understand the long and the short opportunity. I know that yesterday there's a long opportunity in this region, if not lower. I understand with this price action that we got, there's a shorting opportunity here above 92k. It's just, it is what it is. There is the short opportunity. So, you know, you kind of hedged long or short. Then whatever happens next, you know, it's okay. I'm in double positions. So we want to talk about new trading setups, right? We want to talk about new trading setups, which we are going to give right now in the next coming minutes, guys. Bear with me. It's, you know, the scenarios that I'm looking for. That I do think that is probably going to happen in today's video update. My favorite scenario was this one. If anybody watched today's video update, this is my favorite scenario. Rejecting here at this $92,000, above 92 and between 92 and 93, right? We give a bit of a range here, but this is my favorite scenario. So far we are rejecting here, which is kind of, you know, what you anticipate with, you know, the probabilities. You know, probabilities here from continuing, you know, to the upside, it's just very, very low, right? If you do understand, you know, the timing, the waves, and you know, the resistance. You know, this was actually value area low of this zone right over here, right? Getting that choppiness above this little range that we had basically last week, right? Where we do have that value area low, which is kind of, you know, trying to get above choppy, low probability to actually break up here successfully. So that was explained in today's video update, guys, and this was the main scenario, right, that I like more, which is told in today's video update. That didn't get too much love, guys. You know, it is what it is. What can we do? Bottoming on Ethereum. Well, Ethereum, man, I haven't checked out many altcoins. Bitcoin has effed my mental today. My mental health, right? Dump had volume, then no volume, going up to 93k level. Yeah, you know, I do think so. We're going to break down a few scenarios. Do we feel the CME gap first? I mean, I don't know. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the CME gap. I haven't even checked the CME gap, guys. This is like how confident I am with the intraday scenarios. Yeah, where's that CME gap? CME gap is still a little bit lower. Still a little bit lower. This is interesting. This CME gap is actually pretty interesting. Is there a gap? Is there a gap? A very, very tiny one. Very, very tiny gap I can see here. Muy pequeño. Muy pequeño. The gap. And there is a gap. There is a gap for sure. Very, very small one. Or depending if you want to count the entire candle, but I'm not counting the entire candle, just right over here. Yeah, it's at 89.7k, right? 89.7, 89.8 would be the fill of the gap here. Do we fill it or not? I mean, why not? The price is moving down with some pretty increasing volume, and I'm going to explain a little bit of what I need to see here, because for my favorite scenario, even though it might be the one that does not play out so far, this scenario, all of the scenarios that were pointed out on today's video update, I got a few of them right over here. All of them, not exaggerating, all of them point out for a correction from this zone, right? That's the beauty of Elliott wave theory as well. You can say, well, we just hit we were just hitting a resistance zone, right? This was hitting the value area low, or or the golden pocket. Was it golden pocket maybe? Yeah, slightly above golden pocket from the movement down, right? So you might think, why use Elliott wave theory if the price was coming to the value area low of this range or golden pocket? It's just there's a lack of information. There's a lack of prediction if you're just using the value levels, point of controls, just Fibonacci on its own without having any clue on how the price moves. Elliott wave theory does give you that edge eventually, and yeah, looking at all of the scenarios that were explained in today's video, there's no arrow here moving to the upside. There's no polyline that actually moves up, because I didn't have one. Yes, could volume increase here and you move up? Just because it was such a low probability scenario, I didn't even, pointed it out here with the polylines. So all of the scenarios we're looking for a reversal at this 92, 93k zone. It's just there's no point. There was all of the scenarios. So anyway, we've got that movement down right now, and now here's where it's going to become interesting. Here's where it becomes interesting. You got the movement down. I would prefer, we're gonna dive in here through the lower time frames, because this is where we're gonna get the meat and potatoes, guys. This is where we're gonna get the action. This is where we're gonna get ready. For me, I'm not interested in doing anything at the moment. No sniper trade, no. We can take a look at session volume profile. We're going to take a look at today's levels, which I do have somewhere here. So we've broken inside of today's levels. Daily open was broken inside of previous day value zone, which eventually is, we get an acceptance inside of yesterday's value area, right? Which is already, first thing of a little bit of weakness eventually. Getting inside of yesterday's range, but we don't have a plan just purely based on yesterday's range. Point of control, previous day point of control is a decent level to consider, which would just have a few $100. That's all coming in to fill the CME gap almost. Yeah, well, it's not. CME gap is slightly lower, but yeah, round about that zone. Anyway, we're gonna break down a few of the Elliott wave scenarios. The only big major support that I do see in this zone, I would have to give it the point of control of this range, which is actually previous day point of control. That's the only big major solid level that I do see in this area, which I do think could actually bounce. We're going to break that down now in the next few seconds. I just want to confirm here that we don't have. Yeah, we do have a fresh daily level. My bad, because I don't have it on the chart. There's a fresh daily level here, which we should definitely take into consideration. Let's just pop that daily level right now on stream and put it here with our daily levels. Okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. That daily level is potentially where that previous day point of control is. Just below, just below. Interesting. There is some support level. It's a daily level, and previous day point of control of the range. That's probably a zone of choppiness. It is probably a zone of choppiness. It can be an aggressive sweep of the low. It could be an interesting area. Okay, could be an interesting area to sweep the lows, like kind of fake out the daily, the point of control, and actually even sweep up this higher low that we formed late last night. It's an interesting SFP. Okay, it is an interesting liquidity grab and a bit of a sniper trade. I would like to get a bit of choppiness in this area, and I will explain why the choppiness here could be looking quite interesting. Choppiness in this zone. I'm looking for the choppiness either here, and if you break down aggressively, I'm looking for the choppiness in this area after sweeping the lows of yesterday. So it's either here we get the choppiness, and that's where I'm going to take a decision for a long eventually. Okay, we're not talking about shorts right now. Shorts should have been taken from this range. As explained with the polylines, especially in today's video update, guys. In today's video update, as explained, all of the scenarios we're pointing out for a reversal, all of them, at this zone of 92, 93k. So, yeah, no rush, of course, right? This is a main issue for a lot of people. No rush, guys, and to get into, you know, a long position right now. I did not catch the long here yesterday. I didn't catch the double bottom. I entered a little bit late, but that late entry, the stop loss was a bit, you know, far away. Gave me a very solid, good entry. Risk to reward was not the greatest, but still happy based on the execution and the probability side of it. Okay, which was explained yesterday on the live stream as well. Okay, as we did get that bounce. You know, we said it all depends on your management. You know, people, I am worried about the people, how much they risk on their trades. That's what I'm worried about. I'm very good with low capital. I'm comfortable with what I'm going to get stopped out with if I do. And that's very, very important as well for the, you know, the community. And I'm worried about people just going all in, guys, and stuff like that on one or two trades that we talk about, and that, you know, might hit stop loss. And then, you know, manage risk, guys. You know, this is a long-term game, right? You want to try and make some gains at the end of the month. If it's not this month, you know, at the end of 2 months, right? But don't get wrecked in one or two trades, right? Don't go all in or add to positions and stuff like that, guys, because, you know, eventually it's unsustainable long term. I can already tell you, right? You can figure out that yourself if you trade like that. So yeah, I mean, let's just break down here in a chilled way my favorite scenario, which is this one, right? We can break down the next movements, all right? But I like this one. I realize that this one, you know, it's going to be a little bit tricky. It can be a little bit tricky because we've got a wide range, and this is speculating that this is a flat, right? A flat here, if you have a zigzag down in a wave W and a flat in your wave X that we talked about, the potential flat, okay, coming to the 1.618 extension yesterday. And this is like classic flat move, guys. You know, this is it. It cannot get any better than this, than an expanding flat. You know, this is exactly how a flat looks like. 3 wave up, 3 wave down, very aggressive C wave. This is like, you know, textbook flat. which was one of the scenarios that we talked about yesterday. It's either going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reversal, or it's going to be three-wave structure flat directly to sweep up 90.2k. So probabilities were high to get a bounce in this region. With this scenario, you might think, well, where do I, when is it the moment to get into the goddamn trade, right? When is it the moment? Because I'm nervous about it, and I just want to get in, right? And it's all about chilling, right? I'm a very relaxed person, and I think that's what helps me be a good trader as well. I'm very relaxed. I'm no rush. I don't need to jump in every single trade, and I don't need to rush in. I see this dump right now. You think I'm interested in getting into a long position with this aggressive dump down, high volume? I don't care if it continues lower or it gets a massive bounce here, V-shaped recovery. It's just, I'm not interested in doing anything here. What I will be interested in is if we were to get choppiness. I mean, for me, yesterday, I was not interested in getting the double bottom. But with the analysis said, if we do overlap the golden pocket from this pivot high to the pivot low, I might even, entering late with stop loss here, it is an option. It just doesn't give you the best entry, but it gives you a bit of confidence that you even have higher probability to sweep up these highs. There's a good chance that you do sweep up these highs, and obviously that's when you're taking, the profits if you're longed. As you sweep up those highs, because if you form a flat here, you could form a zigzag down, right? If you didn't take profits on the sweep of the highs, then you need to, right? You just need to. So with this scenario, this has the potential to, me even coming down to sweep up the lows here at 87.7k. I have to say it has the potential to even come as low as 87.6k. So I need to be very, very careful on what I need to see here if it is going to be a flat. In a flat structure, I want to see some kind of choppiness here. I want to see a slowdown at some moment. A slowdown needs to occur for me to be confident in saying, right, it's time for a possible bounce. So the main reason why here, guys, because if this is going to be a flat structure, if it is going to be a flat, right, there's other scenarios that we need to talk about. There's the bearish case, guys, which we are just, going to get a pretty aggressive, continuation move to the downside. And we're going to get a very, very poor corrective bounce at some point, which, we'll just inevitably have to say, okay, guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, three-wave structure up. First one wave, very corrective overlappy structure. I will be happy to short here later on because there's probably going to be a big dump coming, right? It all depends on how we develop the bounce. The bounce is going to tell me, right, that's it. It's time to go aggressively short, right? Because then this could be the third wave down, right? 1, 2, 3, and you're basically getting the third wave of the third wave, right? If this is going to be 1, 2, 3. This is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Developing the third wave, if you get me with that explanation. So, but we need the bounce first. So there's no rush in speculating. I am still, believing that we're going to get to 94k plus, right? Before we actually get down to 84k, right? I think that 94 has higher probability with the information that I've got for the moment. I'm willing to say, for the moment, with this range of the last few days, I'm happy to say that there's actually higher probability to take out 94k than actually get down to 83k, 84k. And we're almost in the middle right now, right? So now we're in the middle right now. We are getting a bit of a dump, but I'm happy to say that with the information that I've got, I'm actually giving that the highest probability that this is very, very possibly a sideways corrective structure, or maybe even a double zigzag. Maybe a zigzag down here is also a possibility. Why not? You know, we barely just got above the golden pocket. So we didn't hit the 70% Fibonacci, which is kind of your, yeah, we didn't hit the 70% Fibonacci. So a zigzag, flat zigzag is still possible. Still very much a possibility. Sweep up these lows, get supported down here, and then reverse. It's one of the options. We'll get to that right away in the next couple of minutes. But what I want to see here on this movement down, if I'm going to speculate that this is a flat, this one right over here, so we've got a flat here, and if this is going to be a flat also, we've moved down a little bit aggressively, a bit of increasing volume at the moment. That's when we need to go into the 5-minute time frame a little bit. Okay, very choppy, very choppy. No big solid candle. Okay, it's not a couple of solid candles to the downside. I have to say it is a little bit grinding. But what I would want to see, based on this high, you got a couple of 1-2s here potentially, and then you got the aggressive drop with increasing volume. I would want to see a start of a choppy sideways bottom formation here. I mean, this would be the ideal scenario. Will we get it or not? I don't care if we get it or not. If we do get it, I will be interested in longs, right? That's the whole point of, you know, understanding the exhaustion after a big wave down here with higher volume. The same theory applies if we were speculating yesterday on the possibility of an expanding flat to get to the 1.618 extension. What we do have eventually is that movement to the upside and a big pop, right? We popped out here very aggressively. You know, this was a pretty aggressive pop with high volume, right? You got a bit of a staircase to the upside and you got this pop. After the pop, you start slowing down. Right? You slow down, slowing down, ranging, slowing down. That's what you want to see after the pop, right? So if we arguably discuss that we have popped here, if I am speculating on an ABC flat right over here, and we do see the staircase down, such as the staircase up in this scenario that we had yesterday with a big pop following. We got the pop here that's followed through. What is the next scenario? Well, the next scenario is a bit of a slowdown, a little bit of choppiness, a little bit of a slowdown here in this range. That's what I want to see, right? I want to see something similar. Once this happens, wherever it happens, I mean, I don't, you know, obviously I would prefer it to happen, you know, at the point of control of yesterday, range, you know, daily level. I mean, coming down to get the choppiness at proven confluent zones, such as a daily and the point of control. I mean, that's the moment that it's going to be lucrative to look for double, triple bottoms, right? Or maybe even snipe the daily level or snipe the point of control. But you need that choppiness first of all, right? Will we get it or not? Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care really, because if we don't get it and we just nuke down here, we continue to the downside. I have to label this as still a wave 3 getting developed till you get the slowdown, right? At levels of support, maybe SFP from this zone, or maybe, you know, slightly lower, maybe in the middle. At some point, it needs to slow down, right? This, you know, and scenarios that are unlikely to happen is that could happen always, guys. You know, this is, you know, it's a ferocious market. V-shaped recovery or big dump continuation, right? It's something that could happen. It's unlikely to happen, but it could. So when you got this aggressive move down, I don't want to try and, you know, catch, you know, I want to get into a long here because it's going to bounce for whatever reason, point of control, or you might got the golden pocket Fibonacci from this low to the high, right? I'm just going to enter. at the golden pocket just because of the sake that it is the golden pocket. But it's, you know, it's an aggressive move down, and it's an aggressive trade. You know, if you feel comfortable in taking that, well, you know, for me, it's not part of my strategy. That's for sure. So, you know, you need to take trading and analyzing the chart as a very chilled way, right? You need to be very chilled about. I miss moves every time, guys. You know, even though, you know, I might say, well, we're likely gonna. I didn't catch this double bottom at the low, you know, and I was aware of, you know, it would be nice to try and catch the ultimate low level, right? To share that absolute sniper trade to the upside. Like I catch the low. I didn't, you know, I entered a little late. But entering a little late gave me a little bit more confidence that this was a three-wave structure. And the first target zone was sweeping up the highs. I mean, risk to reward is not that massive, but it just gives you that little edge of you know, having a higher probability, you know, successful trade, right? And it's all about that. It's all about having a higher probability successful trade at the end of the day. And not, you know, not always catching the low or the high. I love catching lows and highs. I love catching SFPs at point of controls, at VWAPs, at, you know, I love it. I do it a lot of the times. A lot of the times I don't. So, so yeah. Anyway, so if we were to bounce here out of nowhere and get a massive rally, you know, I couldn't care less, guys. I would have to call it a missed trade. What I would like to see is, as explained, you know, something that, like, you know, and this was actually good, because this was coming into, yeah, when you do zoom out here, this rejection that happened yesterday at 91.5k, you know, it's a little bit of an SFP from these lower highs right there. You got a few lower highs, okay, very nice. Not only that, when you do zoom out, it's actually the you know, the point of control of this entire range that we've had, right, for the last few weeks, right? You treat this as a range, okay? The point of control was actually exactly where we got the rejection yesterday. It's a bit of a snipey move. It's a little bit of an SFP as well from those lower highs, okay? But it was a kind of a valid aggressive entry, especially when you're looking at elite wave theory and you're understanding the probabilities of an ABC flat, and obviously having a 1 2 3 4 5. You're starting to get the choppiness here after the big move, so you're looking for you know, a reversal, right, in this case. So yeah, I mean, there was confluence here, there's no doubt about it. I did not do anything. I was already in bed, I think. So I didn't get into any trade here. So ideally, yeah, I have to say, ideally it's about being patient at this moment. If this is going to be, which is my main scenario that I like more, if this is going to be the main scenario, we got a very, very wide range, unfortunately, for an ABC. It could be an expanding ABC. It could even reach 87.7k, which is the 1.618. It could be a running flat. It could just claim the low of the A wave to be a regular flat. You know, there's many options here. Many options, which is not making it an easy trade, right? It's not making an easy trade here to like jump into a long. So if you want to be a little bit more confident here, and like I mentioned, if we were to V-shape from here, then happy days, right? Whoever's a long from lower, then I think it's worth maintaining some of that long position, obviously taking some profits on the movement up. But for a new trade, we're talking about a new trade right now. I would be happy to believe that there are people that are positioned from here and people that are positioned from this zone in a long and in a short, and they're in the absolute golden hedge position, right? I would be happy for people that you know, actually took, you know, the probability movements, and now they have, you know, a risk-free long and short, but obviously it all depends on the trader. So for a new position, as explained here, we're already getting a little bounce. That's good news. This is good news. Price is already getting a bit of choppiness after this high volume move down, right? Because we've got increasing volume on this rollover that we've had, and getting a bit of a bounce right now. So what would be nice is, and I'm going to say, if price crosses this golden pocket from the last pivot lower high, so we've got this movement, and yeah, this movement right over here. I would say that, yeah, this zone, the last lower high, the aggressive move down happens from this pivot. Let me correct this. So I would label this as the corrective structure, the impulsive move down. If you are going to get a bounce all the way up to 90,900, there's a good chance that this movement down has finished and you know, could be labeled as a three-wave move down, which is going to give us the other options, which is going to be explained right now. Okay, if we rally up to 90,900, then eventually we're not looking at I wouldn't be looking at the flat structure. I would be prioritizing other scenarios, which is just getting us ready for the big move. Yeah, so if we do hit 90,900, I would consider that this is a corrective move down. And obviously for the flat, in this case in the WXY, it is important that we move down in an impulse. So yeah, we can mark that invalidation at the moment, at least right away here, and I'll put it inside of the and this is very, very locally, of course. This would be very, very locally, but this would be the invalidation if you do not claim the lows again, which is price needs to claim the lows. This is only valid, this invalidation is only valid if the lows are not claimed with this bounce. If we claim the lows right now, then I would take that invalidation off the way, right? This is just to confirm that this is a three-wave move down. If you move up here, then we're no longer looking for an impulse because you got the highest amount of volume on this movement down. If you do get the choppiness, then you know we take this out, which is, you know, very, very likely going to happen, right? I do expect the choppiness to happen here. So yeah, this is an interesting stop right now that we've got. If we come back down, you know, and we slow down, this is what I want to see. I want to see the claim of the lows, but slowing down, right? Not breaking down aggressively, and then get a shallow bounce and then another move to the downside, very possibly. And that's when I'm going to label all of this as a 5-wave move to the downside. And that's where I'm interested in looking for double bottoms. I will be starting to be interested in catching the lows on these double, triple bottoms for that reversal. Okay, at least to sweep up all of these lower highs. It's an intraday setup that has the potential of, you know, going to higher levels, right? Let's leave it that way. Because if this were to be the correct count, you would be looking for this to be the low, right? But that you need that choppiness. You need to be defensive. You need a good entry. You need good risk management, basically, right? So yeah, let's just wait to see if we get that choppiness. Interesting levels to take into consideration for that choppiness. We do not want to lose the point of control from yesterday or the daily level. If that is lost, I would say that we possibly have a good chance that we claim this low. And once that low is claimed, that's where I would want to see the choppiness, right? If we nuke down here with no choppiness, I would just happily say, guys, that this is still the third wave down, right? You've got a few 1-2s. You're still aggressively moving down until you get that slowdown. We don't have the 4-5 scenario, right? We're looking for 4-5s. We're looking for that little bit of choppiness to speculate on that reversal on the 5-minute, 15-minute time frame, which eventually we do not have at the moment. We haven't got that information. Once we get that information, you know, I would confidently say we have a good chance in bouncing here, guys, right? We have a very, very good chance that this is, you know, likely bottoming out in this region, point of control daily, and we could be looking for that reversal. But we need the choppiness, right? I need that information. So yeah, that's a little bit of the plan here that I would be looking at. If we continue rolling down, then, you know, happy days. Whoever's shorting well is going to be happy. Whoever is long, you know, is probably going to get stopped out at break even. But yeah, ultimately that's what I would be looking at here for this scenario that has the potential, okay? We're not saying that it is the low, but this has the potential to form a low somewhere in this region to then rally in the next coming days to take out 94k. It has the potential. I can't say that, you know, I'm 100% confident about it, because I'm not. But I would say, you know, it has the potential, and as long as it has the potential and we can predict, you know, the next possible movements, you know, I will be happy to participate and take that chance. Right? Because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You know, looking at the possibility of a trade and see if it does play out with good risk management. You know, it's the way how you play the game. So yeah, what else can we talk about here? We got, you know, I got a few, obviously there's many other scenarios, but, you know, just like to explain a little bit in detail what I would like to see here at this zone of support. You know, either point of control, get the choppiness at point of control of this region, or down at the daily. You know, that's all right for me. Start getting a bit of choppiness here. The next movement's down. I want them to fail. I want them to fail to go to lower prices. Then, you know, we could be looking for that reversal bounce. So I need that. That's what I need at the moment. If we nuke down, then okay, so be it. I'm happy. I'm fine with that. You know, I'm in a short position. I would just be looking for the possibility of the choppiness at lower prices. You know, maybe, you know, sometimes we don't get the choppiness, guys, and it just creates an SFP, and it's very aggressive, look, just like yesterday. Other scenarios that I would be looking at is this right over here. Yeah, I mean, obviously we will see this. I mean, talking about this now seems pretty bold at the moment. It just doesn't make any sense, because you only like to predict, you know, speculate on a triangle when you literally have, you know, over halfway through of the triangle, right? You at least want to have 2 lower highs and 2 higher lows. Then we, you know, if we move like this in the next coming days, you know, give or take between today, tomorrow, a bit of Wednesday morning maybe, right? Because it would take a couple of days to develop a triangle here. Then we could say, guys, I like this idea. We got a good chance that, you know, the price could rally to the upside based on a sideways zigzag flat triangle WXY, and we move to the upside. It's just a way on how the price could move. Anybody that is aware of Elliott wave theory and has a little bit of knowledge, I'm not saying you know, massive knowledge. I mean, this is advanced Elliott wave theory, of course, where you're actually looking for a possible complex sideways WXY, right, where you can have a zigzag or a flat, and then a zigzag and another flat and wave X. You know, these are complex sideways momentums that do happen, but what is easy is to detect a triangle, and a triangle would be very, very lucrative in the next coming days if we do develop it, to understand that if a triangle is formed here, the probabilities will be for the bulls. And that has to do with this rally that is impulsive, and the movement down that we've had is not impulsive. And if you do form a triangle here, obviously triangles are not available for a wave 2. They can only be in wave 4s, wave X, wave Bs, other corrective structures, but not wave 2s. And if you are looking for a large dump down, if you form a triangle formation in the next coming days, the probabilities will be for the bulls, not for the bears, as triangles are not available for a wave 2. So obviously it's information that we need, because I mean, a lot of people here, obviously, you know, people that don't have any knowledge on Elliott wave theory will form a triangle, and I can tell you that a lot of people would speculate on a dump. It just looks perfect, right? You know, you just need to zoom out. We've got a bear flag. We got a, you know, higher time frame bear flag. We got a big rejection here. You know, people are really going to speculate that this triangle is going to pop down if it were to be formed, right? This is speculating that it's going to form. If we do form a triangle in this zone in the next couple of days, I can tell you already that the probabilities are actually to rally above 94k, based on what I explained. Triangles are not available after a 5-wave structure in a wave 2. And you know, if this is a 3-wave structure on the higher time frame, you want a wave 2 here. you want a wave 2, because on the higher time frame, you know, you're literally looking at the end of a correction, and you want a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, you want to continue the downtrend of the last couple of months. So yeah, triangle is not an option here for a wave 2 eventually. And if a triangle is formed, the probabilities will, you know, obviously is higher for the bulls. And it's just the way it is. It's not because I like it or because I make the rules. It's because it's the rules, and that's it. So yeah, we need obviously a lot of information. Then there's the double 1-2 in this case, which I don't like this scenario. I'm giving this a low probability. This was explained in today's video update. We have the possibility of a zigzag down, zigzag up, very, very shallow zigzag down here in a wave Y. You need to give it a possibility, even though it is rare to have very small wave Ys, your wave W being twice the length of your wave Y. It is a rare movement. However, you would have to give it a chance, and that will have to do, everything will have to do with the bounce that we do get here. If this is going to be corrective or impulsive, we ain't going to go into detail on this because I think it's just low probability anyway. You know, this is something that it could happen eventually, but low probability based on the WXY here. So, and the bearish case scenarios, which they still have a chance. There is, the reason why I don't like this movement to the downside is as a wave 5 is because it looks very 3-wavy. Not interested here in well, what can I say? You know, this is a 5-wave move to the downside, but the last wave here looks very, very 3-wavy. There is a way of putting an expanding diagonal here, but expanding diagonals are very, very rare. So, you know, I wouldn't give it the highest probability eventually. So for this scenario, you got a zigzag up, you form another corrective structure, which might be this. And then, you know, we form a zigzag move to the upside. You know, eventually you would have to spot the end of a 5-wave structure getting above these highs. You know, for me, it's low probability. All of the bearish case scenarios are low probability, in my personal opinion, for the moment, till we get the bounce. Because of this 3-wave structure, the moment the next bounce happens in a very overlappy three-wave structure, say that we do grind here to the downside, this can be labeled as an impulse. And if we do get this price action overlap, very corrective momentum to the upside, I will be happy to say, you know, I'm going to add to my shorts or get into new short positions here, because if the bounce sucks after an impulse down, then obviously I would speculate on going lower, even though my bias today is to take out 94k instead of 84k, guys. You know, the information that we get daily, you need to be very, very neutral and very adaptive to the market, right? And this is why we try and do daily updates and you know, predictions here. Sweep those lows. I'd love that. Sweep those lows. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the poll right away, because Andy, bullish CVDs, I like it. Let's go. Bullish CVD divergence. We have them, right? We have them. I don't know where. Bearish CVDs, you might say, right? Or bullish. Do we have bullish CVD divergence? Has there been a lot of shorts entering here? On Bybit, we do have some lower lows on CVD, but I wouldn't treat these CVDs as, yeah, the problem here with these bullish CVD divergence, that they've already, you know, when you take a look at this low and these lower lows on Bybit, these bullish CVD divergence have played out already. They've taken out the highs. So I wouldn't class this as a solid bullish CVD divergence. Divergence right now, there's a bit of too much noise. Bit of too much noise here on the CVD, unfortunately, which is not, there's no solid bullish CVDs, at least that I can see here. No solid lower lows, no solid lower lows throughout the exchanges. So CVD is not going to help us here. We're actually going to be forming bearish CVD divergence here, very, very locally. Very, very locally, we are forming lower highs on the price action, starting to get local higher highs on the CVD here. So there's longs entering here like crazy, which eventually gives the probability to sweep up the lows locally here. So yeah, we haven't got local bullish CVD divergence. Could you take a look at Ethereum too? We can take a look at Ethereum later on. The biggest boss, how are you doing today? Please, Avalanche, modesty. I promised you that I was gonna take a look at Avalanche today. Okay, let's take a look at AVAX. Quick here for my man. He's been screaming for Avalanche in the last last stream, and I did not take a look at Avalanche. So I promised him we would take a look at it. Woo, you know, Avalanche. Yeah, Avalanche looks pretty damn sexy here for a reversal bounce. I'm just going to go quick on the point here on the higher time frame. I'm not going to go on the 15-minute or any of that, okay? But the main reason why Avalanche looks pretty damn good all the way down here, my goodness. Yeah. Literally at the low of the year, even of 2024, 2024. It's the lowest price in over 2 years now. 2023 was actually lower. But yeah, let's just break down here a little bit of Avalanche and why a relief rally is, you know, at least a relief rally is high probability at this moment for Avalanche. We'll be breaking that down. Guys, remember that down below you got some great perks, okay, for either bluffing. You know, you got Velto as well, which is awesome. Velto is a decentralized platform that you just connect the wallet to the platform into the liquidity pool, okay, which is, you know, it's absolutely awesome because there's no third party, right? You know, people that are looking to get that risk off, right, and have full custody of their funds and, you know, not worry about, you know, a platform that goes down for whatever reason. You know, Velto is absolutely awesome. You can connect it to MetaMask, you know, Ledger, all sorts of different wallets. Very simple, easy. You got a little tutorial. As soon as you click that link down below, there's a little tutorial that pops out on how to use the platform, right? Which is absolutely awesome. Okay, for all of those people that want to go with the centralized, You got bluffing, which is absolutely great. Okay, you got a massive bonus. Okay, in the description down below, first link. Okay, for bluffing. It's another way to support the channel, of course. Okay, as you do know. Let's dive in through Avalanche and why I think the Avalanche, based on this momentum, based on this choppiness, has a good chance to get a bounce. But, you know, as I mentioned, I do not know about these projects, right? Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. I don't know who's holding most of the Avalanche tokens, right? We always get these surprise, you know, I had some Cadena tokens. I had some Umbrella tokens, very low cap, right? Not much. But, you know, these cryptocurrencies that were companies, right? They got busted in this cycle. Right, and you know, I was holding two of these cryptos out of my altcoin bags that went literally to zero, right? Which is, it is what it is, right? This is, you want to play around with altcoins, well, this is, you know, this is what you get. So you know, the thing is, even though the chart might look sexy, the chart might look nice, you know, there's always the chance. I don't know. I have no idea where, you know, I have no idea fundamentally of who's owning all of the cryptos and the rest of it, right? Of Avalanche. But, you know, there's always the possibility of this, you know, imploding on every single altcoin, guys, except for Ethereum. I would say Bitcoin and Ethereum. I would add Ethereum eventually. So yeah, I have, you know, absolutely no idea of, you know, who's holding most of the crypto of the tokens, right, of the coins. But looking at the chart, there's no doubt that the selling pressure is getting exhausted from this high that we created in September. We got that big aggressive move, obviously in October, and then the dead cat bounce, and now you're creating that choppiness here in this region, which, you know, I would be happy to say that we're forming some kind of a diagonal, moving down here and forming a floor on the higher time frame, which eventually this chart is telling me that this is getting exhausted, and that at some point the selling pressure is just not going to take it anymore, and there's going to be more buying pressure to get that reversal bounce in the coming weeks. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but if you tell me, you know, this is, you know, looks like it is getting a bottom formation in this zone, okay, at the $12-13 area. We're not going to go into too much detail, right? We are at support on the higher time frame at the value area low of this range over here, high volume node, value area low, point of control, bounce, bounce, bounce. You've tested it too many times, ended breaking down, and you got the value area low, another high volume node from this large consolidation between 2022 and 2023. And that's kind of your last zone, right? Last zone before you take out this low at $9, which has a good chance of getting a relief rally, right? But every bounce that we got here formed a lower high. You know, is this relief rally just going to be another lower high? Well, potentially yes, right? Potentially yes. What can we say? Maybe it's not. But yeah, good. We are at support. Value area low, high volume node. It's looking pretty okay. We analyze the latest move, possible 5-wave structure that's slowing down. Okay. Let's go right away through the comment section. We need to dive into Bitcoin, BTC, USD, and break down the different scenarios. Let me know in the comment section, are you long, are you short? Let's take a look at the poll as well and see what's going on here on the poll, legends, because the poll es muy importante. What comes first for Bitcoin? Woo! This was starting off with 70% almost. Take out 94.2K. It's getting pretty equal right now. We've got over 400 votes. We've got more votes here than like buttons, guys. What's going on? What the heck is going on, legend? Let's go. Let's equal the like button with the votes, shall we? What comes first for Bitcoin? 94.2. 53% of people are saying that, yes, we head up there. 47% are saying 84K. We claim those lows. Interesting. Muy interesante. I am leaning on the bullish case just because of the information that we have here, guys. I've been quite bearish the last few weeks. But for the moment, I'm giving the higher probability in taking out this high than this low. We're just going to have to see how we break it, of course. There's a lot of resistance above 94K. We got the anchored VWAP. We got a weekly naked point of control. There is a lot of resistance above 94K, guys. 95.7 is a weekly naked point of control. Just at 96.9, there's a naked point of control as well. From this range, you got the anchored VWAP also that is coming down to that area. Where do I have my anchored VWAP? From a major pivot lower high, which is this one right over here. There's a lot going on here as resistance. So yeah, just take that into consideration. Mucha resistencia above 94K. Let's go through comment section. Not much more, guys, to really say about Bitcoin. If we do get above if we do bounce from here, I mean, we did create a bit of choppiness, I have to say. We did create a bit of choppiness here. Not enough, if you ask me. Not enough. If we do get above $90,900, there could be a chance here that this is a corrective structure. I would like to see at least another low here, another nice low, so we can actually fit in a 5-wave structure to the downside. But if we pump from here to 90,900, I would say that there's a good chance that this is a corrective move down. Yep, I would say that. And if that is the case, that would only mean that, the range could continue in either a triangle. I could class this as an impulse, but you did get a little bit of choppiness, but not enough, I would say. Double zigzag is still a possibility, okay? A double zigzag and a WXY is still a possibility. Hang on a minute. No, I wouldn't class as a double zigzag. Yeah, I don't think we're even going to come down to sweep up these lows. If we had a double zigzag, we would have to see zigzag down, flat, and because we claim the highs here, you can't have a zigzag down right now. The zigzag should have been formed after the flat. Should have formed from here. This is where we should have got the zigzag. But if you take out the local highs, we're running out of options to go to lower prices here on the corrective side of it. So, we're either forming a flat or a triangle. The most bullish case is multiple 1-2s here. And if not bearish, where you just continue a little bit of the range and then roll over. Also, there's a few scenarios on the bearish side. I am seeing this as a sideways corrective structure, guys. I'm leaning more on the bullish side. I have to say, I'm leaning more on I'm positioned already. Let me know if you are long or if you are short, or if you're both long and short, guys. Let me know down below in the comment section or on the side. Are you short? Are you long? I'm a little bit hedged, okay? I'm in both sides. I do prefer the bullish case. I actually do prefer the pump up in the next coming days. So we're going to be analyzing very carefully the next few days on the new information and see if we, but I can tell you already, this week is a big week. This week is a big week. We do have JOLTS job openings. Okay, that is tomorrow. On Wednesday, we do have the interest rate decision with FOMC economic projections. PPI we do have on Thursday. Obviously, Wednesday is the biggest day. I do think that this week we are going to get a volatile move. A big move of $5,000, maybe $10,000. Just because the timing is right for it. The timing either for the bullish case, which is multiple 1-2s, and then you rally breakout, or the bearish case, which is an ABC, right? And then obviously you're looking for a lower high and, you know, dump down in a third wave to claim below $80,000. And the main reason why is, you know, we are ready for that big move of $5,000 to $10,000 on the price of Bitcoin is because of the structure. You know, it is ready. It's ready. You know, I do strongly believe that we ain't going to be ranging in this zone for the next, you know, 3-4 days. I think, you know, before the end of the week, you know, it's going to pop out above 94K. Or it's going to, you know, break down to the 80K levels. So we are there, guys. It's going to be a few days, and obviously with the biggest week of news that we do have in December, you know, I think it's going to happen eventually before the end of the week. Something that is interesting regarding news, we got Michael Saylor with the orange dots and orange circles. That's all good. That's all nice. You know. But overall, what is more interesting is this one right over here. Spot buyers are stepping in aggressively. This level of bid side imbalance often marks a local bottom or signals trend reversal. And, you know, I can, you know, the price of Bitcoin doesn't move because me and you buy Bitcoin or institutions buy Bitcoin on spot, guys. It's a highly leveraged market as well, just like any other market that there is in the world, right? Leverage does move the market aggressively. So spot buys, yeah, it does help. It does help eventually. But, you know, leverage is what moves the market. It is what it is. You can look that up, okay? The power of leverage is what moves the markets. And yeah, well, this is interesting data, of course, which, you know, there's a lot of aggressive spot buying at this zone, which could signal a bottom formation here. Back in March, April, we did get that aggressive spot buying, and it did mark a local bottom, and we ended up reversing. So could we take it into consideration for the bullish case? I mean, a local bounce is expected, right? We are expecting a larger local bounce, regardless if we go lower here in this bear market. A larger relief rally is going to happen. Obviously, the relief rally, you know, that obviously a lot of people would point out that a lower high is going to happen. We ain't hitting all-time high, right? And we're just going to form a lower high here and, you know, continue the bear market. According to the 4-year cycle theory, we'll be looking at the waves, the scenarios. I might, you know, if I sell any of my spot Bitcoin on the relief rally, I will tell the people. Okay, I will say it on YouTube. I'm out 25% of my spot bags. I'm still holding 75% of what I bought throughout the last few years. So I'm pretty heavy in Bitcoin still. And you know, but that's a long-term thing. I'm actually happy with the cash that I have on the sidelines. Afternoon legends, Mark Dutch. Much love to you, brother. Long time no see. What the heck? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Where are you? Brother, what's going on? Very happy to see you, my man. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hope you're doing well, my man. Long time no see. Hope you're doing very, very well, Mark Dutch. Much love to you. Very happy to see you here. Short, says John. I longed Avalanche. Eddie says. I'm wearing long shorts or short longs. Very good one. Very good one. 89k BTC, 56% chance. Yeah, well, 89k, then slow drag to 93k. I don't know, man. I don't know. Why not? I've explained the scenarios that I'm interested in. I would be interested in a little slow grinding structure here into levels of support. No rush to either add to my existing longs or maybe get into a new long position. But point of control with a daily level here, if we do not overlap the $90,900, which would be that golden pocket, I would consider this that 5-wave move to the downside. And this could be, it could be a flat, could be a flat in wave Y here, WXY. Zigzag down, flat in X, another flat in Y. And if we come down here, chopping down to the daily, point of control, need that choppiness, we could consider, I could consider longing the local double triple bottoms to position myself responsibly. For the bearish case, if you did not short, this area, which all of the scenarios that we mentioned in today's video update, they were all pointing out that we were looking for a rejection in this zone. There was no scenario that was looking for a pop here. There was, but the probabilities were so low that I didn't even consider it for the update. For the bearish case, we literally need to continue here. The bounce is going to be studied. If the bounce is very overlappy and you don't get a solid push to the upside, we could definitely consider this being the zone for major shorts. It's not going to be easy, I have to say. We need a very, very choppy, overlappy bounce here. But if that is the case, right, even though I am looking for 94,000 to be hit in the next coming days, it's my favorite scenario. Okay, this corrective, I'm looking for this to be corrective. But yeah, we do have that 1 2 3 4 5 3-wave up. If you zoom out and you don't get too much noise, if this is classed as an impulse, this could be wave 1, this could be wave 2, this could be the first wave 1 and 2 of the third wave, and it nukes down in the next coming days. So the bounce is going to be very analyzed between today and tomorrow, which will bring the next scenarios and the next probabilities, guys, that I would be looking for. For the moment, I am giving priority to this till proven wrong, till we actually nuke down, or I'm actually giving priority to this. We could be finishing the sideways correction very, very soon, and we're heading up to 94k plus in the next 1 to 2 days, or we range a little bit longer till we actually get the news on Wednesday. Legends, thank you very much for joining today's stream. Much love. Hey Andy, please explain all these scenarios again. I just joined. Devil, my man, much love to you. I know you know the scenarios more than I do. Okay, I've seen your updates. You know what's happening. Much love, Devil. Go and check out Devil, guys. He's got awesome content, great technical analysis on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to Devil. He's an absolute master. Mark Dutch, rest of the moderators, if there's any. Staffer one took day off today. Much love. Thank you for joining. Simon Jones, when is the Y wave invalidated? That's a very good question. Y wave would be invalidated. I mean, you do have the possibility of going all the way down to 87.7k easily if this is going to be an expanding flat. So, I mean, invalidation for the Y wave is a very good question. It depends on which one, because this could move sideways and form a triangle. For the flat invalidation, you literally have to nuke down here, basically. Nuke down. There's no invalidation really in the short term on the Y wave for this flat, because this could be a running flat. It could be a regular flat, sweep up this low and then get the bounce. You got point of control, you got a daily level. It's an interesting SFP level, if you ask me, this higher low that we had late last night. And you even have the potential of coming down to 87.7k, just an expanding flat here. So yeah, there's no invalidation would be nuking down basically with high volume, and then I wouldn't treat this as a potential Y wave. Then you got the triangle structure. So yeah, much love. Thank you for joining, Devil. Much love to you. Mark Dutch, hit the like button on your way out. Thank you very much for joining today. The only 2 YouTubers I trust with analysis. Thank you very much, my man. That's a great comment right there. Thank you, sir. You're very welcome. Cheers for the analysis, mate. John, you're very welcome. Mark Dutch, Devil, thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. And I'll see you tomorrow.